The 251 is immensely popular in jazz. So although this is a pop-oriented lesson, I think we should take a look at what jazz musicians do, since a lot of these ideas, particularly the 251 and the 51, originate from that field. So here's one example. Now that particular example was nothing but 251s. So here's my first chord. And now that's a 251. So I've used jazzier voicings, so it might throw you off. So let me use the root forms. Here's a C. Next three chords are F major, F sharp minor, B major, E minor. So that's a 251. Next three chords are also 251. So we had so these chords are F minor, B flat, E flat. That's 251 there. Another 251. E minor, A major, D major. And the song ends with a last 251. D minor, G major, C major. And we're back right where we started. This also illustrates another use for 251s, and that's to change scales throughout your song. So we shifted, it actually happens so fast that your ear sometimes doesn't adapt to it. But we've actually shifted tonal centers, we've changed scales. So when we do something like this, 251, and we end up at E minor, we sort of feel that our chord now, the center of our scale now is the E minor scale, and we can continue building our song if we'd like to from E minor. Then the next change is F minor, B flat to E flat. So if we had stopped here, the listener would feel as if we've changed scale to E flat. Let me give you a pop example that might illustrate this. Suppose you have this simple progression, and suppose you'd like to transpose it up. So the corniest thing to do would be transpose everything by a semitone upwards, half a step upwards. But with 251s you can actually do it more gracefully. So what you do, suppose you'd like to transpose it up by 3 half steps to E flat. So instead of you'd like so to shift your tonal balance, you'd use a 251 that would end with an E flat. So that would be an F minor, B flat, E flat. So I might do something like this. So it sounds a lot better than just abruptly changing your scale. So what I've done is I've put this F minor, B flat to E flat in the middle. 2-5-1. So 2-5-1s are a really comfortable way, or really practical way of changing scales more elegantly than just abruptly shifting your scale. Let's go back for a moment to McCartney's Yesterday and try to understand it in terms of 2-5-1s. So we had now we've seen how this song can be viewed in terms of 5-1s. But it turns out that this song is also filled with 2-5-1s, and here they are. This progression is a 2-5-1 on the A minor scale. That's a 2-5-1, B minor, E major, A minor. Next, the song progresses, and that's another 2-5-1. D minor to G to C is a 2-5-1 built on the C major scale. And finally, we have, so there's no 2-5-1 here, there's just a 5-1. So this F breaks the, if we had a 2-5-1, we'd have a, right, because we'd had a 2-5-1 built on a G major scale. But actually what McCartney uses is an F instead of a G. So it's just a 5-1, and then, well, that doesn't fall into the 2-5-1 category. Next in line is the 3-6-2-5-1, and as its name implies, it's an extension of the 2-5-1. And what you do here is, just like you've constructed the 2-5-1, you pick a scale, say C major, and it has degrees 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, and you play the chords in the order of 3. That's the third degree, that's 1, 2, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. And you play the chords that fit the scale. So here I play, that's an E, A, D, G, C, which would translate to E minor, A minor, D minor, G major, C major. And by fit the scale, I mean they have all of the chords notes are part of the scale. So when I play my 3, I wouldn't play an E major because this G sharp doesn't fit into the C major scale. Now there are exceptions to all of these, but in the simplest form, the 3-6-2-5-1 contains chords that are all part of the scale. So with the right inversions, it can sound pretty good. For example, going back to this E, A, D, G, C progression. So that was a 3-6-2-5-1 on the C major.